Okay, next on our agenda we have a series of 3 soil subjects that we're going to discuss. It'll be involving at least 2 people. I'm not sure how many people Jasper has planned to assist him. But the 2 main speakers are from way beyond North Dakota. We have one from Cameroon, Africa, and another from India. So the first speaker I'm going to introduce is Jasper Teboh. Jasper is, as I mentioned, originally from Cameroon, that's Central Africa. And he got his PhD at NDSU under the direction of Dave Franson. And then Jasper went to Louisiana State for a bit, and then we were able to talk him back into coming to North Dakota. This is his 2nd season here working as our soil scientist. Last year was a year for observing and identifying needs. This year he's going hard at putting in a lot of trials relating to soil management and plant nutrition. So I guess without further ado, I'm going to ask Jasper to take the mic, and he'll tell you about this trial, and then we'll have another stop, and he'll continue with discussion on at least one other study.
Yes, this is a study actually to evaluate the efficacy of different fertilizer products on corn response. We actually planted this study on the 13th of May, and we applied 20 different treatments. The company that sponsored this project actually wanted us to compare their product called Amidas. Amidas is a nitrogen fertilizer, has 40% N and 5% sulfur. And we decided that we were going to include agrotane as one of our products to compare with Amidas, and we also included ESN. ESN is one of the products that have been used to apply to corn and other crops. The ESN actually is used to minimize the conversion of urea to ammonia. What we decided to do was to apply 5 different rates of urea, which is a check control, beginning from the west end all the way to the 5th treatments, and they included 70 pounds N per acre, 100, 130, and 150 pounds. These 4 rates, 70, 100, 130, and 150, we applied them as well as agrotane. Agrotane is a urease inhibitor. It's sold as a urease inhibitor. There are different agrotane products, and we are actually using agrotane, ESN, and a host of other products that are used to minimize, that are sold as a product to minimize the conversion of urea to ammonia. So what happens is when you apply a fertilizer in soil, urea ammonium nitrate, liquid urea, there's a tendency for some of the nitrogen to be lost, especially if urea is applied on the surface. So in order to improve nitrogen use efficiency, the objective is to minimize nitrogen loss when urea is applied to the surface, or determine the time of application of your product so that your crop can better use the products that you're applying. So we're actually trying to manage different timing of application of our nitrogen as well as our rates of nitrogen. However, with this study, we aim to evaluate how the crops will perform with respect to these different products. Now, the company is hoping that Amidas would perform better than urea if applied alone. From this study, actually, after planting at about 5 leaf stage, we were able to observe good differences, some responses. On the very first replicate here, we have 4 replicates. On the very first replicate, we decided not to randomize this so that we could visually observe the response to the different treatments. So as I said, we have 5 rates of urea of 4 rates of urea plus a check, which is 0 pounds N. We have agrotane applied 4 rates, also from 70 to 150 pounds N. Urea plus ammonium sulfate. So we applied ammonium sulfate mixed with urea to actually compare the performance of the crop, the response of the crop to ammonium sulfate mixed with urea, given that our amidase comes in the form of ammonium and nitrate. So we have 5 pounds of nitrogen in amidase as ammonium and 35 pounds as nitrate. Since last night and early this morning, we computed our data, and we realized that based on the data that we collected, which is plant height, which we measured from the soil surface to the youngest fully formed collar. So this is not quite evident. So to the youngest fully formed collar, that is actually where we take our height. We know other studies, in several studies, plant height is taken to the tallest drooping leaf within a canopy, or it's visually seen as an average. However, we decided that we would follow a procedure that has been used in Nebraska to measure our height consistently to the youngest fully colored leaf. We were not able to see any response, any significant difference between the different treatments. The crop heights, even though we saw some visual response in the beginning, it seems that the rain that we received 2 weeks ago actually did some magic. The crop or the treatments that were slow in growth actually picked up. And I believe by the end of, right now the corn is about 11 leaf stage. Maybe 1 month from now, we may not be able to see any differences actually between the different treatments. It is common for us to see that in some of our nitrogen studies, where rainfall has been a problem. And we think that the lack of response or lack of visual response later in the stage is a result of the late rain that we received 2 weeks ago. More than often, we would expect that even our ESN, which we applied, ESN actually, what it does is, it has a micro coating such that when it's applied to the soil, it releases the nitrogen gradually to coincide with sensitive growth stages of the crop. With agrotane, it has been reported that when you apply it in soil, it stays for about 10 days before the nitrogen will be released. So with respect to this trial, ESN, at the beginning, most of the ESN treatments were actually very short. The plants were responding based on height. However, by the time we could take the height, the plants had begun responding to the moisture that it received. I would like to say that if, for some who may be interested, if you go down to the ESN treatment, you would realize some of the ESN that was applied since the 15th of May is still in the field, is still on the surface, the soil. I can't really explain why initially, even though we saw the response from the check plots, at this time we received about 0.75, that's a 3/4 of an inch, 2 weeks ago. The plants were able to use up much of that moisture. However, and I would have to mention that some of the nitrogen that the plants must have been taking after the rainfall must have come from the organic matter content. At the start, we had about 67 pounds of N in the soil. So that may have been enough to provoke the growth in the corn. However, we will be coming here again to collect the leaf tissue samples. We already did that at the 8 leaf stage, And we took some remote sensor data, green seeker sensor, to determine the response, to measure, to obtain an index of crop vigor. And that actually did not give us any results to be excited about. However, I must say that even though we took height and took green seeker sensor data, which is the NDVI. NDVI is the normalized different vegetation index. It's an index of crop vigor. It has been correlated often with plant height. We're able to see that the plant height and the vigor measured by the NDVI had a strong correlation. So when we come next at the 12-leaf stage, or sometime late this week, and collect biomass, maybe that will tell us something about the response to the different nitrogen rates. We have several studies at the station, wheat, canola, that we are comparing these different products to determine if actually it is important, or if it's economical and even reasonable to apply some of these products that are commercialized. However, I know agrotane and ESN, based on the publication from NDSU, are showing some encouraging results. And Dr. Goose on campus has done in-depth studies in the lab to compare these different products. We are not advocating for any product. We just give an indication of what results that are being observed so far. We have been able to accomplish whatever we have with the help of CVIA. CVIA is one of our soils research specialists at the station, and a host of other students who have been very helpful to us. Please, if you have any question.
The ESN, was that 100% ESN, or was it mixed with some straight urea?
The ESN was 100%.